The Grandma Next Door is recorded in front of a live studio audience. Welcome to the Grandma Next Door. You're listening to my mommy and daddy.
And now our feature presentation.
And he is your host, my mommy and daddy, Chris and Stella Green.
Hi, Pups and Kittens, and welcome to episode 67 of The Groomer Next Door. I'm your co-host, Chris Green. Sitting next to me, as always, is the relaxed and utterly adorable Sarah.
Hello.
Well, we're in a whole different mic, because we're actually on our anniversary weekend. We are staying at our favorite hotel in Springfield, Missouri. And
yeah, you gotta be sure to tell which Springfield, since there's so many of them.
Right? We're at the Simpsons Springfield, right?
I don't know.
They never really say.
They don't say.
So anyways, I'm going to try holding the mic right here. Let's see how that
because that genius over here forgot to bring it.
I did forget to bring our actual studio set, so yeah, that was brilliant. So we're going to sound a little off today, and but at least we're able to record.
True.
Yeah.
And an important episode, too.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. I saw you waving. I thought Claire came by.
She did. She kind of made a funny face behind you and then left.
Oh. Well, I was trying
She
to...
might stink out again and say hello later.
Huh. Well, hopefully she does. Got a interesting mic while we were out here. Didn't know if this would work or not. I did playback and it worked pretty well. Loud, audible sounds behind you that you'll be able to probably pick up and hear. That's the pool. We're actually recording this outside of our balcony right by the pool, so it's kind of cool. Well, okay, let's move right along into our show this week. Obviously, really weird week because we had a lot of snow this week, so that was odd. That kind of put me down for a couple days. You still worked. You were able to go in.
Oh, yeah. Keith brought me in, and we had full days. I mean, nothing. We didn't skip a beat there. So many of our customers had four-wheel drive, and what was nice is that a couple customers couldn't make it in because they'd only had a two-wheel drive. Well, one of my customers called in and asked, is there any way you can do my standard poodle? I have four-wheel drive. I can get anywhere. Can you groom my pup today? Was there any cancellations? And so it happened that we had cancellations. So I was like, come on up. Why not?
But you didn't have me to work for you.
And that was the mistake.
I thought it was hilarious.
And Keith was like, I can go pick up Chris, and knowing me, the martyr I can be. No, it's okay, I got this. Don't worry. No need to use your gas. Don't worry about it. We're good.
You came home busted.
Oh, I was in so much pain that day.
That was kind of funny, actually.
Har.
I kind of was like...
Advil, here I come.
Yeah, I was like, you took a standard poodle without me, and then you had a D-shed.
Yes, I had a huge Bernese D-shed. Oh my gosh, I was blow drying this dog, and all of a sudden the hair just splattered all across the wall.
Oh, hey, look at this. Would you like to say hi?
Hi.
Well, who are you?
Claire.
You're Claire. Oh, okay, I remember. You're the girl that spent the whole day in the pool, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah? Well, that's kind of cool. Thank you for coming over here and saying hi to us. Your hair, I don't even know what to say you did to it.
Wet.
Oh, it's wet. Oh, okay. Well, that does make sense.
Because someone splashed at me.
Oh, so he splashed at you? I think it's because you were in the pool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You having fun?
Yeah.
People can't see nodding of the head.
No.
Yeah, there's no video here. There's just audio.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Are you enjoying looking at your voice?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what does it for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for saying hi.
You're welcome.
Claire gets a kick out of this. She when she sees us recording, there's it's an audio tempo that actually shows all of the voice going up and down and the decibels. And she gets so excited. She can just look at that and ADD, that's it.
Okay, this is a flash to all those kids out there who weren't raised in the 90s or the 80s or even the early 2000s. Claire just asked me, Mommy, how do I pause the TV? We're in a hotel. There is no DVR. There is no TiVo. There is just straight, you watch commercials, you watch everything. It's a hotel. It's hotel TV. And it's just, how do I pause the movie?
I remember the first time when this is like 3 years ago, she had a moment where she didn't realize that we were watching stuff on DVR, and she was like, I don't want to watch commercials. Fast forward. And I would tell her, no, it's live. I don't care. Fast forward.
The best part is when she said to me earlier when Chris went to go get us food, she says, Mommy, there's nothing on TV. Put on Netflix.
Did she really?
Yeah. I was like, honey, we're at a hotel. There is no Netflix. What about the Roku? No, honey, there is no Roku at the hotel.
Wow. Well, you could have.
She's all kinds of embarrassed right now because she heard me tell the story.
You could have used my iPad. You really could have used the iPad.
Well, I'm not that technical.
You could have given it to her. She knows how to do it.
Oh.
Yeah, she knows.
Maybe she can teach me a few things.
Oh, she taught me. Who do you think produces the podcast? Not me. She does it.
I know how to Google.
Google.
I know how to Google.
Well, that's better than a lot of people. All right.
On track. Back on track.
We are so off topic.
So, anywho, crazy week. Lots going on. We have been so busy that we are now having to pick up Saturday grooming. There's just so many dogs, such little time, that at least for a little bit, take on Saturdays.
Yep. We have more to talk about that we really don't have a lot of info on, so we're not going to go into a lot of detail or any detail, but more, of course, info of craziness.
Well, our lives always constantly evolve and constantly change.
Yeah. Well, we are actually a very mobile type of a family where we do make a lot of weird changes. I mean, we are not normal by any means. I mean, we're sitting here with a microphone, and probably at least one person had to have seen us going, what are they doing?
Well, luckily there's shrubs and tree and actual real plant life growing in front of us in an indoor enclosed area. This place is so cool. It's called the Ramada. Ramada Oasis.
I was going to say there's a lot of Ramadas.
Ramada Oasis in Springfield. This place is amazing. Saltwater pool, heated, nice jacuzzi. Anywho.
Yeah.
Let's get back to
we are way on ADD, aren't we? Boy.
This is why we shouldn't have done a podcast on vacation.
Oh, but then, you know what? People wouldn't be able to enjoy it.
So
and we wouldn't be able to enjoy
our
this.
actual topic for this podcast, after we're done with our rambling, is
disability in animals and pets.
But
we're going to focus on blindness.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We just recently was asked to take care of a foster dog.
If for any reasons any of you have liked our fan Facebook page, you'll actually have everyday updates from us, photos, different tidbits of what's going on. So if you actually already have liked it, you would have seen the picture. You would see Kim McNulty's 501c3 organization. Yep. So you would have all of that available that you would already have seen, but, you know, kind of a fast forward. This is Kim McNulty's personal 501c. You can look it up.
It took quite a few ladies to get this up and running, and they worked really hard to get it done, and they finally got it accomplished. So good job, ladies.
Yeah. And you know, I normally work with PCAL locally. That's the organization I like to work with. But definitely always easy to work with anybody who has a 501c3. Shelters are also another thing that we like to work with. I mean, we are very versatile, obviously. But this particular dog comes from, what's the name of the 501c3?
Whisker Stop.
Thank you. I was going to say that completely wrong. That's why I was like, please help me.
For some reason, I got in my head Whisker Whispers for some reason.
I had something like that too.
Stop.
Okay, good.
But they came across Sidney. I'm not sure the full story, but the dog was taken out of the situation. And a sweet dog, very good, very well-mannered. Well, very good.
I was going to say, not the well-mannered.
She tries to take food off your plate if you let her.
She does not go for that for me, but my goodness, is she a whiner.
Okay, and this is where we get into the blind part.
Well, let's first start with what you know of the background of the dog.
I don't know much. That's my point.
Really, nothing at all?
Just that she was taken out of a bad situation. The actual original owner went to jail or prison, and they couldn't keep the dog. The one thing that was quite peculiar to me was the fact that she was still nursing.
Yes.
I don't know where the puppies went to, because when Kim got there, it was just this one dog. But she was sagging pretty good, and there was still milk coming out of those. There was a couple of times I was like, why is my hand wet? Oh yeah, I just picked the dog up.
Yeah, you told me that one time. You're like, oh, my hand is all wet. I go, why? I think it's milk. And I'm like, honey, we have milk in the fridge. You don't need to go to the dog.
Ew! Oh, smack, you need to edit that out.
No, that was funny.
So,
there is no edit.
quickly we realized that Sidney is blind, or at least partly blind. She's got an eye, from what I remember hearing, it's called Merle. And it's normally popular in Australian Shepherds. I used to groom this one Aussie.
I saw a husky too.
Yeah, there's some in Huskies, but that's more of a little different.
Yeah.
There's so many different stages of Merle, different types.
Yeah.
That genetic gene pool is insane how to follow it. But I've seen it in an Australian Shepherd. And what I heard from their owner, what I spoke to him about, is that the dog can see, just not as what other dogs can see. And so I think she's having issues since she has one, the Merle eye and the regular eye. It's having conflicts. Now, my problem is I don't know which one she can see out of, which one she can't.
Yeah, that was weird because you put your hand up to her.
On either side of her face, and she won't react.
Yeah.
You have to get your hand right in front of her face for her to do anything. And kind of up, too. Not right in front, but a little more upwards.
Yeah.
So it's that right there, having a blind dog that was taken away from puppies probably too soon, anxiety level goes through the roof. This little girl whines and cries the entire time unless she's asleep or next to you. She has chosen me to follow for some reason.
Yeah, it was weird. At the very beginning when you brought her home, she had kind of taken a shine to me, kind of stayed by me. But I have Belle, and the cats do come around a little bit more, especially Rambo. So you don't have them as much.
No, I got a dorky Akita that comes over with Yoda ears. Can you pet me? Can you pet me?
Yeah, but even down to that, Katana actually stays at your feet. She doesn't get into the chair with you.
No.
Where Belle is snuggled up to me, the cat.
Roxy.
Yeah. I have more of them smothering me.
Our Akita won't snuggle with us, but our pit bull gets right up in our face.
Oh my god.
I mean...
Or knocks my coffee over.
Oh yeah, everywhere. So...
I like you, I like you, I like you.
The way we found out that she was partly blind was... I felt bad for the dog. I didn't know. Nobody told me that she's partly blind.
I didn't know either.
And I was walking her on the leash, and
it was me.
Oh, you were walking her on the leash.
I was walking her.
And then she just thunks right into our car.
Right. Yeah.
Head first, right into the bumper.
She got hit by a parked car.
Luckily, she wasn't running; she was walking.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What in the world?" I thought she was just messing around, and wasn't paying attention where she was going. Well, I noticed in the house she was moving her head, jerking it up, almost like if she had a floater in her eye and she was trying to look around it. She kept jerking her head up. And she couldn't judge the distance between the chair we were sitting in and the floor. She kept doing what the cats do, where they bob their head up and down, trying to judge the distance between the jumps. She did the same thing. And I looked at Chris and I was like, this dog's blind. Or at least partially blind. Chris was like, oh great.
What did you just bring home? I can't even send you to work without you bringing home a dog. You know, we're supposed to groom them and send them back to their owners.
I at least gave you a warning I was coming home with one.
Oh my gosh.
I gave
I
you a
won't even
warning.
start with the warning. It was, honey, I hope you're not going to be mad.
Because by that time I already had possession of the dog.
Yeah, I know. I may be sleeping on the couch tonight, but it's worth it.
Very worth it. So, as we're in Springfield, Sydney's with Kim's daughter, babysitting for a little bit till we can take her back and foster her until she finds, till she gets vetted and such, and finds her forever home.
Which is weird. It's weird to be recording on a Saturday night opposed to a Sunday, but we're traveling, so hard.
Yeah. But, so we were doing some research, a little bit more research on blindness because I knew a little bit of how dogs react while being blind or partially blind and such. Some stuff is just pretty much common sense. But we wanted to do a lot more research on the intricate parts of a dog being blind and how to really help them out and cope being at home. He's opening up a thing of chocolate milk.
I'm sorry.
Chocolate milk.
Keep going. Yes, chocolate milk.
Chocolate milk.
I wanted a mic stand, but nobody had a mic stand I could borrow, and I'm not going to buy a mic stand for one possible use of this microphone. Yes, keep going. I'm listening.
Chocolate milk. And you didn't even offer me any.
Would you like a chocolate milk?
No.
Okay, well then there you go. I offered.
So,
Do you ever wonder what we're like outside of the studio when we're recording? This is it. This is us.
we have random strangers laugh at us because we say some pretty asinine things to each other.
Asinine. I think there needs to be a word in Wikipedia that just explains us. All right, so where are we?
What's common sense about having a dog that's blind, and what actually is stuff that is common sense but never really thought about.
Cool. Okay. Cool. Cool. I'm actually going with the Matthew McConaughey right now. Cool.
You know, one thing you want to make sure
Right.
you do is always speak to your dog. Sydney goes to the front door and starts barking at the front door because the last time she heard me was going outside. So then I come back in and I go into our bedroom. She doesn't hear me come in because I don't walk in. Hi, everybody, I'm home. Or hey.
Yes, you do.
You always go outside.
You always say Sarah's entered the building.
I'm lifted down from the rafters with fireworks going off.
Hey, I never got that on our wedding, okay? Speaking of wedding, this is our 8-year wedding anniversary trip. That's why we're here.
Yes.
So, yeah. If anybody cared, I don't know.
So, I hear Sydney starting to bark at the door. First thing I have to do is, Sydney, come here, honey.
Oh,
and
gosh.
she stops, instantly stops, and she goes roaming the house.
Okay, but the problem is all you keep hearing is thunk, 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 thunk as she's walking into things.
Well, the unfortunate part is that they have to get the lay of the land.
That's true. Which is really what this is all about.
What they suggest for dogs to really help them get used to things is getting them on a short leash and walking them through the house. Giving them treats in places that they want to be. Trying to make each room a different scent. So when it's time to go to bed and you allow them to sleep on your bed, they know that smell is bedtime. Or if they need to go to go outside, make that area a certain scent, or the front room, or their kennel, or certain spots, different smells. Another thing they said to help the dogs understand perimeters and to make sure they don't bump into things.
Let me try to guess. A doggy blind stick. No?
I was thinking of a CNI dog for a CNI dog.
I like it.
A CNI dog for a blind dog.
I like it. I like it a lot.
But they said it's really important to find out a furniture arrangement that you have and stick with it. You move it, it's going to disrupt the dog's everything.
Why do I just see some real meanie, because I want to keep that clean, the real mean person be like, I'm going to move this chair just for fun and watch the dog bonk.
I know people have done that to blind people just out of just being a jerk.
I swear I didn't. It wasn't me, folks. I promise you, it wasn't me.
But another way is to keep the furniture where you wanted to keep it, be happy with it, deal with it, because you gotta bend to your dog's disabilities. Another thing is to put like a special kind of rug, a mat, a doormat that has a special kind of texture to it, so that the dog knows that, hey, this is the front door. If I need to go to the bathroom, I need to go to this door to let my owner know, hey, I gotta go.
Now, what's weird is that Sidney has figured that out immediately.
Yes, she figured out real quick where the front door was.
I think I don't think that she's 100% blind.
No, I don't think so either, because once you say something, she's looking right at you, kind of with her head down or her head up. She's kind of
she doesn't have a Ray Charles thing going on where, the head is bobbling around.
Well, it goes up and down.
Not like Ray Charles with the piano and
the side to side?
Yeah, no, none of that. It's too bad. We don't have a current blind musician to reference. We have to go all the way back to Ray Charles or Stevie Wonder. That's the best I got. I only have 2 people that I can reference. I'm sorry, folks. I'm pretty sure maybe somebody's going, there's somebody.
What's the point you're even talking about this?
I have no idea, because I'm just thinking of a dog that's bobbling its head like Stevie Wonder or Ray Charles. I like my Diet Pepsi.
They said that children's gates are real important to have too, especially if you don't want them in a particular area that's very dangerous. If you have a glass table with sharp points on it, or solid oak places that have sharp points.
So almost treat it like a child, like a 4-year-old child.
A 2-year-old or a 1-year-old that is wobbly and can fall into anything and doesn't understand depth.
That's very
They said that
interesting.
It's harder for humans to live with a blind dog than it is for a blind dog to live with itself. They can adapt a lot quicker than what humans can, and they rely on their senses a lot more. Now, if you have a deaf and blind dog, well, that's a lot of tender, loving care you're going to have to give to that pet.
And this is not a reason not to adopt a pet that's blind, and definitely not a reason to not adopt a pet that's deaf. I mean, there are definitely,
I know folks who have deaf dogs.
Yes.
And they get their attention through a laser pointer.
Really, no, that was not what I was going to reference. I was going to reference waving.
Well, if they're asleep.
Well, yeah, I understand.
I know a laser pointer won't work if they're asleep, but you gotta try.
Sure you can. you move it fast enough, they'll see a light, some kind of motion.
Maybe.
It's a hardship. I mean, I honestly, either or. Deaf would be hard. Now, if your dog is off leash trained and they're deaf, that's going to be a hard one. But that's where the waving, you can't yell, "Come here, Spike, come here."
Oh, that's when you say off leash training should be a no-go.
Well, they may have.
It's like saying a blind dog could be off leash training.
Okay. Okay, but here's the thing: if you have a deaf dog that's always been off leash, but it wasn't deaf always, it had chronic ear infections where the dog ended up going deaf,
or getting very old and the deafness.
There you go. See, that's what I'm talking about. Not a dog that's born that was deaf. Obviously not. But I'm just talking about if your dogs, you have a farm, and your dogs obviously roam free. They've developed hearing impairments, and they're deaf or whatever.
I hope you have a big farm. I'm gonna put my dog on it.
Oh jeez. Now leave the jokes to me. I'm the one holding the mic that actually honestly looks like I should have a stand-up stage here, and
Mine just look being pompous. Anywho, so
yeah, it really does. Hey everybody.
Now, if you
welcome to the groomer next door.
Can't find a way to stop a dog from going into a place with sharp corners or situations, there's tons of ways where you can pad the corners with some kind of foam or something to help make sure the dog doesn't poke its eye out or anything like that.
That's my fear with Sidney when I'm taking her for a walk, is I'm moving her away from the trees because there's low branches, and I feel like she's going to walk right into one.
That's when the training is very important. You can train the dog to go left or right.
Yeah.
You can build up their vocabulary to where they understand what to do. They said it's really not that difficult. You just have to be persistent and make sure you use plenty of treats. But it can happen. Key words like left, right, slow, easy, down, up. You know.
Left, right, A, B, select, start?
Yes.
Okay.
So that helps when they're outside walking around, or inside when they're trying to maneuver around their new settings. Already, Sidney is able to know where the door is, where the water bowl is, and her bed. You know, she sleeps with us.
But the only problem is she still runs into Rambo, who is a pitch black cat.
Yes, that is a hard one.
And I don't know who I laugh about more because they both make me laugh.
Okay, Rambo is a special kind of stupid.
I love how Rambo has matured into it.
I love Rambo to death.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
I would have been heartbroken if he got adopted out. But Rambo is a fat boy now. When we got him at 4 weeks old, this scrawny, itty-bitty, teeny-tiny kitten.
That fit in my palm of my hand.
Exactly, comfortably.
Yes.
Is now this big fat cat. And
I've seen bath mats that were actually smaller than what this cat looks like.
when he's laying down, he's wider than my shoe.
He's wider than Ronald McDonald's shoe.
He got bigger than Mama Kitty and Callie.
Combined.
How? He's not even a year old.
I don't understand.
I'm about ready to put his butt on a diet.
I love how big he is.
I think he needs to go on a diet.
Oh, he's awesome. But it's
what
funny.
he does when Sidney comes,
I think he does it on
see.
purpose.
Rambo can see, so he knows she's coming. He gets on his back legs and sits up like a
Meerkat?
a meerkat, or a raccoon. One of those little hoppy things with a pouch.
Kangaroo?
Yes.
Hey! I won a point.
Yes. Like a kangaroo. He comes up, puts his paws up in front of him, and waits for her to go by. And then she runs smack dab in the middle of him. He puts his paw on top of her head and says, "Rah, rah, rah, rah." She didn't know what just happened.
I actually like the part where Rambo will be laying down right in the hallway to the door. And, you know, it's later at night, so it's dark. So that hallway to the front door is kind of dark. Rambo will be laying there flat out like a big area rug. And then you have Sidney go over, she's walking, and she bumps right into Rambo, and they both jump a mile high in the air. I don't know who I laugh at more. Sidney bouncing up and literally jumping like you wouldn't believe, or Rambo who's flat and looks like he deflates when he goes flat, to this cat that absolutely inflates and jumps in the air a mile high. You just look at them both and you start laughing. And of course, like Sarah said,
My problem is that Rambo is a snot. Rambo loves picking fights and then running from them. He'll go over to Mama Kitty and Callie, sleeping so ever, gracefully and angelic, and he'll jump in the middle of them and then take off running. He's a turd.
It's a lot of fun because there's never a dull moment. You just watch these guys play.
Yeah, and then Rambo, when Katana's sleeping, Rambo will go and jump on Katana's fluffy white tail, and Katana whimpers like a big old sissy, a 70-pound sissy, and tries to crawl away while the cat's attached to her tail.
You remember when Rambo was a real small kid, and Rambo would kind of hang on the tail and be dragged behind Katana, though.
Yeah, that ended real quickly.
Yeah, it did. Anyway, again, we are so off, but you know what? The fun part about this is we're a pet show, so you know what? We're telling funny stories, but...
So, more things that are important to do with the blind pet is to make sure that wherever there's slick spots in the house, you want to keep carpet runners down for them. I look at that, yeah, carpet runners would be a good idea, but what would be a better idea is toe grips. You can Google them, toe grips, one word.
I know what you're talking about.
And what they do is that there's these grips that you put over on their nail. Their top of their nail is exposed, but there's plastic pieces around the base of their nail, and it helps them get traction, so that when they're walking on a slick floor, tile, laminate, or hardwood, it helps.
You know who actually talks a lot about toe grips?
Who?
Is our friends over at Animal Wellness Magazine. There's always something about toe grips, and it's funny because they post different brands, different kinds that they have out there from different companies. I like the multicolored ones. I don't know. It puts a little bit of.
Well, there's also nail caps that are actually glued on, and it helps when their nails are trimmed.
Yeah.
Some dogs just either the owners don't want to put enough effort out, or don't have the time to put as much effort out as they need to. For dogs that use their toes as like fingers and they dig in. So what they do is they get their nails trimmed back real short, pop those caps on, and by the time it's ready for another nail trim, the caps have popped off. Mm-hmm. Or you can get them popped off.
I still like the grips more than the caps, but
I do too. I can see those lasting longer, and then you can get them the nails trimmed in between times.
Right.
Because that's something super important.
It's funny because I was looking at that every time I'm talking with somebody from Animal Wellness Magazine. It always is somewhere. Sorry, I drank all the chocolate milk. But I actually see it all the time, and I'm always saying I really want to talk to somebody from the company and get more info on it, because honestly, I really like it. And like I said, I like the multicolors because then it gives your dog that almost kind of looks like a painted nail kind of look without having it. But yeah, I would probably go with that too.
See, because if you have stairwell that the dog needs to get up, but cannot see enough to get up the stairs, and they're slick surfaces, you want to make sure you have those so the dog doesn't fall. Because he doesn't know how far he's going to fall. Dogs aren't graceful when they're falling.
Right.
So a lot of things can happen. A lot of things can go wrong.
Now, did you actually mention movement of the toy breed? Did you talk about that?
No, I'm getting there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought I missed out on something.
No.
Okay.
Another good reason during how to get the dog to learn to walk upstairs, since they can't understand depth, is that you put a treat down on the step, let them eat it. Put the treat on the next step, and keep going up. And the dog will slowly move its nose using their senses, just like humans. Their other senses become more heightened. So you start moving them slowly up the stairs. You gotta do it a few times. You gotta do the same thing going down. That's why it's so important to have those toe grips, so they don't lose their grip going up or down the stairs. Obviously going down will be a lot more dangerous than going up. So definitely take care of that. I don't think the dogs will have very much of an issue getting used to it, but definitely try. The next one that you were talking about is toy dogs or small dogs. All of us love picking up our small dogs. Claire picks up Chihuahua. And
I think it's more Claire likes to pick up Belle.
well, most people have their little itty bitty teacup Yorkie or their small Chihuahua, Pekingese, something small.
Bernese Mountain Dog?
Yeah,
No? Oh.
No, not Bernie.
Oh.
So it's important not to pick your dog up and walk them through the house.
If they're blind.
If they're blind, and if they can get to point A to point B by themselves. Because if you pick up a dog while you're in the bedroom, bedroom 1, and you walk into bedroom 3 and put the dog down, he still thinks he's in bedroom 1.
It doesn't sound like fun though.
You confuse the dog to no end. Don't know where it's at. It's got to figure itself out. That's another reason why it's good to put different smells in different rooms, so they can understand it. And
does this mean I have to buy 3 different kinds of Sensi?
No.
Okay. Oh, I am so sorry I didn't offer you a chocolate milk. I mean, this is a new studio that we only are recording in this one time, and I didn't bring you a chocolate milk. Hey, look it, we're rejoined by Claire.
Yeah.
Wow, this must be really interesting for Claire, seeing us out here opposed to our normal setup. Our normal setup, we don't actually, we close the door to the studio, and there's no in or out, except the cats do find their way in. But Claire keep finding her way into this one.
Well, I got my decaf coffee right now
Really?
since I ran out. Well, yeah, we ran out of the regulars before the lady came down and brought more.
Oh. That's
Anywho.
okay.
So, yeah, don't pick up your dog if it's blind and move it to a completely different room and confuse the heck out of it. Not nice. It's not very funny.
I don't know, I'm kind of laughing a little bit.
It's not nice.
It's not nice, but I do find it a little funny, though. Poor dog is going in and said, why am I in this room? It doesn't smell like a room I sleep in.
So that's basically...
Well, then again, I have kind of the Scooby-Doo voice going on in my head as well. Oh, right.
Now, it's easier on dogs who eventually go blind from age because they already are used to their surroundings. They're used to what's going on. It upsets them, but it's up to you to keep a positive outlook and stay positive towards your dog.
Well,
use a joyful voice. Be nice. Just joyful. Don't feel sadness when you're petting them, because then they start feeling your sadness. Dogs can get depressed. We've talked about this. Dogs get depression, and close your eyes. Be in one room for an entire day without any sounds around you. You can't see anything. You're left with utter silence. That depression can hit in.
Some people would love that.
I would, but most people can't.
Much true.
So, it's always best to have either the radio going, a TV going, something with an audible noise.
Is there a good radio station for dogs?
I don't know.
Play The Groomer Next Door. There's your suggestion right there, folks. Download all 67 episodes and play that for your dog every day. I'm sure they would love to hear the show every day.
Oh my gosh. You went there.
I have to go there. Of course I went there. I'm Chris Green, folks. I will pretty much say everything that comes to my mind.
So
some things should not come out of my mouth, though.
Keep a podcast, keep radio
Don't
or
keep
TV.
a podcast. You just keep The Groomer Next Door on a loop.
So allow them to be able to hear something that constantly changes, different noises at the same time. It will definitely help ease their adjusting times from being able to see to being fuzzy to going completely blind.
So we've actually seen this, in grooming. We've seen dogs that have started to go blind. And you can tell it is very frustrating.
Right. And I was going to get to that too.
Oh, I'm sorry. We don't do any show prep here.
I'm trying to stay on track.
I'm sorry. Choo-choo.
Now, it's still important for your dog to have any kind of socialization. Whether it is going out for a walk, meeting new dogs, and such. So it's one thing you got to let people know when you're walking your dog is that since your dog is blind, they cannot see, or if they do see anything and it's just a fuzzy shadow walking towards them, it startles them. Now, the best way to let anybody greet your pet that is blind is tell the person the dog's name, so the dog understands, okay, well, they're talking to me, Fido. Yes, okay, you're talking to me.
If you named your dog Fido, I swear I may just slap you in the face.
Fido. And then you put your hand close to their face and let the dog slowly sniff their hand. And then say their name again and go to pet them. It's not so much of a startle. Now, if you just go up and pet the dog, they jump a mile high.
They will.
Sidney does that. That's one thing we had to tell Claire. We had to put a blindfold on Claire and make her walk around without being able to see. And she was bumping into everything. That's what's wrong with Sidney. So you need to say her name before you touch her so she knows that you are even around. Because one startle, that's one fear bite. and another fear bite, and the dog's put down because people didn't know how to properly handle a blind dog. So when you take your dog out for a walk to socialize, you got to make sure, or maybe even have your dog wear a bandana that says I'm blind, wear a harness that says I'm blind,
A t-shirt that says Stevie Wonder fan.
and it's extremely important to put on their collar some kind of tag that says that they're blind too. So in case the dog gets out and starts wandering around, you got your information and the fact the dog is blind. And if the person's able to get close enough to see it, that's a good start.
What if the person that goes to walk up to pet the dog is also blind? I'm done with you, Willie.
Well, the blind handler should do the same thing. Put your hand up in front of their nose.
Oh, gosh.
Hi, Ethel. Hi, Ethel. Good girl.
Why are you putting your hand in my face? I'm a human. That just doesn't seem right. Again. Anyways, moving on. Maybe, this is the problem. We never get any rest. And now we had rest, and now we're just loopy, off topic, completely.
And I'm pronouncing my words properly this time.
And
Or
I'm
most of them. I know I've blundered a few.
And I'm a human mic stand.
Yes, you are. And you're doing a lovely job.
I know, I'm looking at the thing moving up and down, and it's not going to red.
That's probably a very good thing.
That's why I know I'm holding the microphone correct.
So, now, you want your dog to still be able to play. And it's hard to get a dog to realize, hey, look, you're not supposed to chew on my shoe. That's not your toy. This is your toy.
But your feet smell so good.
How do you know what's the toy and what's not? Well, yeah, one smells like feet, but they're brand new shoes. They don't smell like feet. So,
well, what if people were trying on the shoes on and off for a while, and then it would smell like feet?
Then you're going to the wrong shoe store, because if that shoe has been there for that long, there's something wrong.
Oh, darn.
But, the research says that you should get toys that have some kind of squeaker in them.
I thought you were going to say they have the smell of feet. I was like, what? You have to buy toys that smell like feet? Oh.
Some kind of squeaker. Now, they also suggest to put some kind of bell on the actual toy. I will say I wouldn't do that myself, because if the dog is a chewer and chews the bell off, something will happen.
That brings us to Belle. Belle's a chewer, and look at one of those little claw machine toys that have the button eyes. Belle would chew them off, and she could choke and die.
We have to be very careful with the toys. For one, Belle Grande decides to go and steal Claire's toys.
Yeah.
Her little tiny stuffed animals that she just loves to death. So we have to be careful on which ones we give Claire. Because if Belle gets a hold of them and they got the button eyes or a button nose, she'll chew them off. So we got to get the ones that are stitched on. Because Belle will sit there and chew it off. And that doesn't stop a dog that's blind from not chewing, because they still have to do something, and chewing is the biggest stress reliever. So finding a toy that has a squeaker, to know, hey, oh, that's my toy. It squeaked. It's my toy. Oh, the shoe doesn't squeak. That's not my toy.
But it smells like feet.
I'm tired of you, Willie. And then another good product is the Kong durable chew thingamajiggers, or Kong Classics.
There you go.
Yeah, Kong Classics. And what you do is that you can shove a treat in the middle, or use the peanut butter paste or liver or chicken paste around the edge of it. So they're chewing, they're getting rid of some stress, they're relieving stress through the pressure of their jaws, their energy's leaving from their jaw, and they're getting rewarded at the same time. That helps a lot with anxiety. Since they can't see, so much is going on, they're missing something. It's extremely difficult. Just gotta put yourself in the dog's position.
I very much agree. Now, I was waiting for you to finish that, because I was going to say, we are going to set up an interview with somebody from Con and have them actually explain their product in depth to a level that we really can't. somebody from the actual production, they need to do it, just like we had somebody from Tropiclean. We want to make sure we actually go through Con too, because it's another product that we do support.
I also support their grooming tools.
Yeah.
A lot of their grooming tools are really great. There's one, it's called Zoom Groom. It's a amazing brush, and it's actually a pure rubber.
Wow, that was weird.
You know, the lights are going off. Time for bed. Lights out.
This isn't a hotel; it's a prison.
But it works very well on short-haired dogs. But that's neither here or there. But get them a Con Classic and let them chew on it. Make sure you get the appropriate size. You don't want to get a too big one, and you definitely don't want to get a too small one.
That is something that's asked a lot with the boarding customers that come in. They will say, well, I have this size of dog, but I want, and a lot of times they want the bigger ones, and then there's sometimes the big dogs, they want the smaller ones. It's like, well, no, this one works better. You handle that stuff, you and Keith and all the others.
Yeah, it's leave it up to the professionals. If the professionals say that you have a Labrador Retriever that's 70 pounds, and you're supposed to get this particular Kong, get that particular Kong.
Yeah.
Follow the directions. It's like feeding a dog. Follow the directions so you're not overfeeding them.
Well, yeah, but here we go with the whole, we can go with the nutrition all day long with that.
Oh, yeah. But another thing...
I wasn't even going to that, because that drove me nuts in a discussion we had about different brands and putting corn on their packaging. Let's just not even go into it, because that'll just drive me nuts.
Yeah. So, you mentioned about taking a dog to the groomer. Now, there is an extremely important areas where you need to make sure everybody that's going to be handling your dog is aware of this particular situation.
I see this going very funny. Is there any medical conditions we should know? Nope, everything's fine. Go to pick up the dog. I'm going to kill you.
If the person doesn't know the dog's blind and reaches right into the kennel, they can get bit.
Yes. Oh, if you reach right into a kennel...
I know people who've done that.
I know, but I'm just saying...
Nobody nobody I've worked with here in Missouri, at Carroll's or at Shadowwood, haven't done that, but in other places
I don't understand how you just don't... I walk over to a kennel, every kennel, and I start talking to the dog before I even open the kennel.
It's because you care about what you do. There are other people that just want to get in there, get it done, collect a check, go home, party.
You got it. See, that's where I lose myself on that.
So make sure you let the veterinarian know. Make sure you let the kennel staff know.
What? My dog was blind? I didn't know that. He wasn't blind when I brought it to you. I could see somebody joking with you and doing that. I could see that.
No, my favorites are the ones, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you he bites.
Oh, man. Those two little old ladies, when I told your dog bit. Oh, yeah, he does that. But you just said when you dropped him off, he's a sweet dog. Yeah, but he bites.
He doesn't bite hard.
Betty White is a sweet old lady, but you know what? When she rips him, she doesn't become so sweet. It applies to anybody. Hi.
Hi.
Carry on.
Anyway, I lost where I was.
I've lost where I was the day I was born. You're supposed to stay on point. You're the knowledge here. I'm the power.
Okay, another thing about walking your dog, I know I'm jumping here, I should have covered this when we were talking about socialization, but another great way to keeping your dog from running into certain things out in the front room or the balcony, or not the balcony, because you don't want a blind dog on the balcony. We're on a balcony.
Hey, I live on the 5th story. My dog's on the balcony and it's blind.
When you have a dog on the front porch or the back porch or somewhere,
I'm worried about you.
And there's a post or some kind of beam that's up, and obviously they can't see it. A great way to deter them from running straight in, smack dab into that beam, is putting an artificial plant or a real plant right in front.
I was waiting for you to go into this.
I know. Well, as the dog creeps up to the plant, that's obviously it's got soft leaves that aren't pointy, that aren't sharp.
Not a cactus.
No cactus.
Okay.
No cactus. No prickly anything. And it helps to act as a feeler.
Yes.
Since their whiskers aren't long enough to protect them. Like,
not a cat.
Right? Let's see.
I'm going to tell you, the one thing that's very distracting for me here is where we're sitting. There's kind of an area with tables. You have breakfast there in the mornings. Tables and everything are still there, but they have two really nice TVs on. One channel is the food channel, which is directly ahead of me, and the other one next to it is sports, and it has hockey playing. So I'm absolutely torn while I'm sitting here from watching the food channel and hockey. This is not fair. This is where the comfort of being in your own place actually helps.
I think the last bit of information I have for right now would be when you're at home and your dog needs a drink of water. Obviously, when you make food for them or you get the canned food together, the dry food together, the dog can hear you rustling around with the bag or pouring the kibble into the bowl. They'll be able to hear that. That's the trigger. Hey, food, I gotta go to the kitchen where it smells like this and it's got this type of a walkway. So they go. Well, sometimes it's hard for them to realize where the water is. So a good way is to get one of those continuous water fountains.
Oh, yeah.
On the floor. So it constantly trickles. So there's constant sound. So they know where to pinpoint their little sonar ears to go to get a drink of water. Depending on how long we're going to have Sidney, it's depending on whether or not we're going to invest in one. I know if we get one, Callie's going to be all over it because she loves it.
Yeah.
When we have old water bottles, not old, but water bottles that no one claimed or haven't been drank out of for that day, we just unscrew it and pour it into their bottle. Callie comes running. She loves seeing the bubbles in the water.
Yeah.
So I think we might just invest in our own water bowl that continuously drops water and rotates the water around. Kind of just like a fountain.
But
and
then
it helps them pinpoint it.
With my ADD, I may just be sitting there looking at it.
Yeah,
I can just see me going,
reason.
look, the water's going back in. Oh, it's come back out.
I love those little statues that have water flowing from level
I
to
do
level
too,
to level and siphoning it back up. And
Drives me nuts.
I love those. But could you imagine having one of those with our cats?
Can you imagine having one of those with me? And then again, I would be afraid. Let's not put one in the bedroom because then I would have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. And I know people who would actually put them. Yeah, true story. Yeah.
Creepy.
I don't know. I'm in my own room. Like I said, I was actually really involved in highlights of one game that was being played right now. That was not fair for me.
Coffee's cold.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right, and is there anything else?
That pretty much covers it. For those who have a special place in their heart for disabled dogs, they're always needing fostering. They are always needing homes.
I love disabled dogs. I really do. We get a lot of different dogs with disabilities, all kinds of disabilities. And I'm going to tell you, I have a very fond place for them. You know, our whole episode was going to be about disabled dogs because we had so many this week. And, you know, when I say disabled, it could be hips, could be joints, it could be bone cancer. You know, that's a hard one.
We have a golden retriever that I have been grooming for 5 years now. Her name is Dixie.
Yeah.
Dixie followed me over from my previous shop. And she has just won the hearts over of every single one of us. She's always boarded at Shadowwood for the entire time, but she's always been groomed with me at my other shop. Go figure that one. So it ended up being a one-stop shop for them. And she has bone cancer in her front left leg. So as she walks, her one leg's kind of up in the air. Now, bone cancer can be taken out, but by removing of a limb.
Yeah.
Dixie's 10 years old. That is up there in age for a golden retriever. So Dr. Brown, which is a highly established and highly recognized
And I'm hopeful one
veterinarian.
day to sit down with him and have him on the show.
And Dr. Winfrey both
Yep.
concurred that it's important not to remove her leg. That at her age, putting her under anesthesia is just not going to work.
Well, she's 70 years old when you think about it. So any kind of anesthetic on anybody, whether it's
And
human
it's even
or
older
canine.
on a big dog.
Right.
So they're letting her live out the rest of her life as best as possible. If it becomes too much, they'll have to put her down. And trust me, folks, I'm going to be bawling my eyes out. I've already lost too many good dogs this last year.
Last year we lost a couple dogs for bone cancer alone.
Yes.
And that's a hard one. I actually was spending some time with Dixie on Friday, and rough. What were we gonna say?
Speaking of the other two that we lost to bone cancer, Oscar and Dozer.
Great Danes.
Yes, they. Mrs. Gorkow
has
has another Great Dane, a puppy. He should be about 12 weeks now, maybe 13 weeks, and his name's Enzo.
Yes.
Enzo's coming to see you Monday.
Really?
Yep.
I thought it was in March.
It's coming up here.
It's coming up. I don't think it's yet. I think it's in March.
It's okay.
Mid-March, I think.
No, it's in a week or two. Honestly, I was flipping through the page and I saw it.
Really? That's soon, huh?
Yep.
I knew he was coming in. It's his very first bath, and I want to film it.
Yeah.
I really want to film that.
I had a point here.
You did.
I was talking about Dixie.
Bone cancer.
Oh, okay. It's important to try to find some way to help out these dogs. When we get them in, we have disabilities ranging from missing limbs.
Mm-hmm.
We've had tripods. And they're just so cute. They don't even know it's missing.
Nope.
They're just like scoop-a-doo-doo-doo. It makes it a little difficult to groom because when you're trying to lift up the opposite leg.
I don't know. I love.
It's hard.
I love that 3-dog shave, because then that 4th leg you don't have to do. I do have to say that is kind of fun.
We do have a Pomeranian that comes in that has only 3 legs, and he is just as happy as can be. It's just very hard to do a sanitary area to kind of shave around his wiener. It makes it very difficult. But we have a lot of blind dogs that come in, a lot of deaf ones, and then we have some that have hip and joint problems.
Yes.
Where we have to be extra super careful.
Yeah.
Some of them don't know they have joint problems, and they jump
Oh boy.
anyways.
Yeah.
And so you're catching them in midair because you're still like 10 feet from your table. You're not ready to pick them up yet, and they're flying across the air already.
And you're just doing some kind of, groomer on ice kind of moment where you catch this, ice skater and then
And it's normally a large dog.
Always a large dog.
Anywhere between 40 to 70 pounds decide to just launch in the air.
Yep.
And you got to catch them to make sure they're not landing improperly, or since they're jumping so far away, they're not going to make the table.
Yep.
So you got to catch them in midair. Oh, man.
And when you put a dog like that in the bathtub, you got to pick them up, put them in the tub. When you're moving them around, you are moving them at a gentle pace.
Exactly.
And then
what
the
they
same
want
thing
to
taking
do,
them out.
they want to jump out. They want to jump in.
Yeah, they want to live like they would without any kind of problem.
Because they don't know that right after
Yeah.
is going to be a ton of pain.
Right. And
They don't understand why.
And that's the part that I really everybody has to understand is we know what their problems are as long as the owners tell us. Mm-hmm. And then
There's been a few where we had to find out on our own.
Oh my gosh. That's the hard one. That's the hard one.
Your dog, the entire time it's been here, has been lifting its back leg.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, he's got the kneecap out of place recently.
You gotta tell us this stuff, because they were going, what happened?
And some people, this is just second nature to them, so they automatically think
my
everybody else
dog's
knows.
disabled. I adopted him like this. I got him as a puppy, and he always had this. Oh, okay. Well, I've never seen your dog before.
And there's also other disabilities like diabetes.
Yeah.
We do have a dog that we groomed that gets insulin shots every day. And when they found out he was diabetic, his blood sugar was up to 500.
Ooh.
He is a 12-pound dog, and his blood sugars were up in the 500s.
That's pretty high.
And then we have Gracie, the Weimaraner, who has kidney failure, renal failure up the wazoo. They have to keep her on some heavy medicine just to keep her alive.
There's also, and I can't think of her, I think it's a female dog, that if you have to be very calm, very gentle, or she has seizures.
Yes, there's King Charles Cavalier
Yes,
that
yes.
freaks out for blow drying around her head. So
Yes.
you got to be very careful
Yeah,
and go very slow, because the panic attack starts off as just a mild, constant bark.
Yes.
And then it starts getting more erratic, different pitches, not frequent, not steady
Consistent.
beats. Yeah, it will be high, low, quick, slow, quick. So that's starting to get to that. That dog's right there for a panic attack. Everything's right for that.
And I've had her each time that she's come in. My method is very simple. It's takes a high amount of time, but it's okay. Simple brown dryer on low,
Which is our teeniest, smallest,
teeniest
one
dryer
motor.
you can do, and it's just simple, very very mild, almost as if you would put it on a puppy or a small dog. So that way, all it is just this very light feel on her body. That's one dog you just don't want to put a high velocity dryer on. And yet, around the world, there are people who are going to say, well, I have a time crunch, I don't have time to waste, I'll just do it half the time than what I would normal, but I'm still going to do it. You just can't
And they
do
do
that.
it erratically, because when you're using a high velocity blow dryer, you're not supposed to move it real fast like you do on some women's hair dryers. No, it's supposed to be slow and steady.
And it wins the race.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
Because if you're going real fast, the noises change very rapidly when you go real fast.
Yeah.
Freaks the dogs out. But a slow, steady motion, the dog knows what to expect. So you got to take it slow. You can't just rush through it, blow dry, throw it in the kennel, and it'll eventually dry in a couple hours.
Yeah, you can't do that.
That hurts so much. It leaves them wet and shivering, adds to their anxiety level.
And they may just have a seizure right there in the kennel, and you're so busy with another dog, you're not even paying attention. And then you go back and the dog's laying on its side, you don't even realize it, and it could have had a seizure, and you're just going, oh, look, the dog's sleeping. It's fine.
And speaking of seizures, we do have a standard poodle, Sophie, who does suffer from seizures.
Caesar salad.
She does not like change of scenery. And when she has to go somewhere where it's a high traffic dog area, it freaks her out really badly. So she has to take it nice and slow. I've gotten her to the point where when she comes into our shop, she just comes right in. She knows she's seeing us. She knows that she's going to be bathed by you and groomed by me. She doesn't care. But at first, it really startled her coming to any kind of grooming salon. So the seizure problem, that's another disability. Seizures are scary. Seizures.
I know how hard that is.
I'm getting tired now.
I believe it. Well, we're at our mark.
So, but seizures
Yes.
are kind of scary. A dog's flopping around on the floor. You got to make sure you can try to pin it down so it's not banging its head.
Oh boy.
If they bite their tongue, they'll bleed, or they lose their bowel movements everywhere, they pee everywhere. It's horrible.
You really have to prevent for all of this. That's the message that we're trying to share with everybody is, adopting a disabled pet is not a real big deal at all. They're going to adjust just fine. And honestly, they're going to love you probably more because you love them for what they are.
The bonding is so much more intense.
Yeah.
Because honestly, the dog knows that you're helping.
Yeah.
The dog knows that you're there giving it all this love.
And we always say, you rescue a dog, especially if the dog was beaten or malnourished or whatever their situation is, just adopting a dog in that sense alone, they're going to know my life has changed exponentially. But then all of a sudden, hey, these people like me and I'm not normal. I know I'm not normal. I'm normal to me, but they're doing more for me and I love them more. So we're always trying to tell people, just because a dog has 3 legs or is blind or deaf or all of those. You never know what the case is.
You know, another thing too is that don't worry about the dog's lifespan. If the dog just so happens to have some crazy rare disease that he only has a year left, well, you know what? Give that dog all the love you can for that year. Instead of letting that dog's last year in a shelter or in some kind of crate because it's just going to die. You know, you got to suck it up a little bit. Yeah, it sucks to have that heartache, but put yourself aside. We're teaching Claire this too. It doesn't evolve around you. You need to do what you can to make that other person happy.
Right.
And that's what you need to do. No matter what, you got to make that other dog happy.
And I still say, adopting a disabled dog, there's so much reward in that. It's almost 2 points instead of 1. Adopting's always a point.
And we're going to try, after Sidney finds her forever home, we have to be very selective because we have a lot of animals and we have to be able to take care of them all properly. So we got to be...
And they have to mesh with a foster.
We all have to work together. So, but if we have another dog that has a disability, 3 legs, or can't hear or something like that, we'll try to help out as much as we can. I mean, I'm starting to get to the point where I'm in a foster addict. I want to foster more.
Wow.
You know, we got Lily and Melody. They made their way to a rescue, and that was just emergency housing. And then they needed Sidney, and I'm like, oh, I want to foster another one. I just hope they're not crazy. But
well,
that's pretty much it on my end.
Yeah, that should be it for this week. I'm not sure ahead of time. I can't speak ahead of time for this week's video podcast. Like we said at the open of the show, I forgot the entire podcast kit. We had the video almost fully edited. We just had to do the audio track. So
we were so busy packing for 3 day, 2 night, or 4 days, 2 night. No, 3 day, 2 night.
Yeah, well,
stay.
Something like that. 3 days, really.
Yeah, 3 days. Stay.
And working part of the day and coming out here and getting Claire.
That's right. We worked half of Friday.
Yeah.
So everything's been kind of insane, but this has been quite fun. Chris said we're celebrating our 8-year wedding anniversary, and it's been pretty awesome. 8 years ago, we were heading out to Vegas.
I'll play the audio for everybody.
Our anniversary isn't actually until the 24th, but since that falls on a Tuesday, can't exactly take off work on a Tuesday, especially when we're so busy we have to add Saturdays. Yeah. So this is pretty much it.
Yeah, this is going to be it, and who knows what is coming down the road as well.
Yeah, but probably I can predict a couple big changes going to happen, but
there's one or two one change at least.
Until then.
Until then, we'll follow us. Just follow us on Facebook every day. We're posting something. So like I said, I don't know about a video podcast this week. Just watch our YouTube channel. You never know what we're going to have out there. And I think that's it.
I think so too.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you for joining us on episode 67. I am Chris Green. Have a fantastic week.
And I'm Sarah Green, making sure everybody realizes life is so short. Play with your pet.
Bye-bye, everybody. Oh, wait 1 second. You want to say goodbye?
Bye.
You're going to have to speak loud. Okay. Christopher and Sarah, we're here before God and these witnesses to join you in wedlock. If either of you has reason to doubt this union, then speak now. Christopher, do you take Sarah for your wedded wife? Will you love, honor, comfort, and keep hope? Forsake all others, be true and faithful so long as you both shall live. I do. Sarah, you take Christopher as your wedded husband. Will you love, honor, comfort, and keep him? Forsake all others, be true and faithful so long as you both shall live. I do. The institution of marriage is very special and very important. It was brought into the life of man as a gift from God. When he brought this institution into our life, he brought with it his hopes and his desires. That through marriage, man and woman would become one and remain side by side to all eternity. While this has been a gift from God, he did ask one thing in return. He asked that we give it honor, respect, and treat it with dignity. The only way to do this is to keep and honor the vows and the commitments that you make to one another. God will be your witness to those vows and commitments. With his eyes, each union can never be broken. Will you turn and face each other? Christopher, take both Sarah's hands. Look at her and repeat. I, Christopher, take Sarah for my wedded wife. I, Christopher, take Sarah as my wedded wife. To have and to hold from this day forward. To have and to hold from this day forward. For better or worse. For better or worse. This is not true. In sickness and health. Sickness and health. To love and cherish.
I shall take Christopher as my wedded husband.
To have and to hold from this day forward.
To have and to hold from this day forward.
For better or worse.
For better or for worse.
Richer or poor.
Richer or poor.
In sickness and health.
In sickness and health.
To love and cherish.
To love and cherish.
To death do us part.
To death do us part.
According to the laws of God.
According to the laws of God.
Christopher, would you repeat the ring on the left hand of Sarah? With this ring I do wed. With this ring I do wed. My love and devotion. My love and devotion. I pledge to you. I pledge to you. Sarah, would you repeat the ring on the left hand of Christopher? With this ring I do wed.
With this ring I do wed.
My love and devotion.
My love and devotion.
I pledge to you.
I pledge to you.
May God bless you, both of you, shine his light upon you, and give you everlasting joy. If you have all the best to everybody, stayed in the Father, doing it all doing minutes, I can be helpful. And Christopher, let us kiss the bride.
Okay, gotta go in my bedtime.